Go.
Welcome back. Episode 97 of the Two Dads, One Dut podcast.
Yeah.
The episode, we are going to put a bow on our conspiracy theory little mini-series here, the third straight episode. Last week, just to give you a little recap, we did talk about all pretty big hitters in the UFO slang there, the Area 51. We touched on the moon landing if it happened.
Spoiler alert, we didn't go.
Lizard people, aliens. But we got some big ones today. We're closing with...
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to say it now?
Give him a tease.
Well, that's not really teasing if we're saying the whole thing.
That's called a tease. We're not talking about it yet. We're teasing it.
Why don't you say it then?
Okay, we're going to do the trains because they're fucking blowing up everywhere. And there's ooze in it. Secret ooze. And I'm
Maybe
not...
plane, trains, automobiles.
TMT, Secret of the Ooze. And then we're doing 9/11. Never forget. And maybe Flat Earth. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? If we have enough time. Conspiracy.
Well, before we get started,
Yes. I don't have it pulled up, so give me a second. 3, 2, 1. This is just us casually burning some time. You know what I mean?
well, we haven't had any time to prep this.
No.
First 96 went super.
Episode 97, brought to you by First Shield Defense. Self-defense is a fundamental human right. A lot of people don't understand that. First Shield Defense does. They provide a way for everyone to learn something new in their weekly classes, and they place a high value on your time. They offer 2 types of classes, Apex Concealed Carry and Krav Maga. In their Apex program, you will pull the trigger at least 500 times in 1 hour, and at the same time, learn how to fight with your gun. The Krav Maga classes will teach you to protect yourself without a gun. Send First Shield Defense a message on Facebook or Instagram and get started. FirstShieldDefense.com.
Let them know that you are an offspringer and that you hear us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Google, Amazon, or if you like to see our faces while we talk about dumb stuff, on the YouTubes. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, drop at the beat.
I think it is time. Un time beat drop, yes. Last second notes, I love it.
Prep time.
We are back. The Two Dads, One Dut podcast. As always, I am your One Dut, Justin Dutteroy.
My name is Travis, always Travis, sometimes Trevor, one of the dads. Spoiler alert, I am the fake one.
Real dad. Skur dad.
Yeah.
Brandon Brenner.
And returning for the three-peat.
Guest dad, always a dud. Brandon Dutteroy.
Always a dad. Okay, so
Not always a dad.
that's a roast right out of the gate. Okay, so question of the day. I heard something by a great lyrical poet. He goes by the name of Young Jeezy.
Okay.
He said, 100 grand on my wrist. Life sucks. Fuck the club, dog. I'd rather count $1 million. Spoke to me. It was very deep, obviously, but you can tell by the lyrics, by the words. Made me think of a question. What if? What if I told you you could have $1 million, but the only way you could get it is every time you're about to have fun, you'd have to go home and count $1 million. Would you do it?
What am I counting it by? Like hundreds, ones, assortment of bills?
Doesn't matter. You're
Do
getting
I
to
get
$1
a
million.
counter?
It's up to you. Fuck the
Then-
club, dog. I'd rather count $1 million.
Every time.
I would imagine.
So I get a different million every time I don't go?
Correct. So it's not an either or. It's you always get, if you choose it, you're always going to get $1 million. But it's basically knowing that anytime you're about to have fun, you don't get to have fun and you have to go home and count $1 million.
But if I do want to have fun, then I could just have fun.
Nope.
And then next time,
Nope.
I count $1 million.
It is you either get $1 million every time you're about to have fun, or you just now get to continue to live your life and have a lot of fun times. There's no in between. And I would assume that Sir Jeezy would probably count it by the 100. Just guessing.
Well, I'd count it by the weight. That's what drug dealers do.
No, hundreds.
Yes, no, they count it by the weight.
The Blue Benjamins.
I don't know the mathematicals of it, but
Yeah.
they count large quantities of money by weight.
Because they're assuming they're all the same bills.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they count the drugs by weight too, so it gets confusing.
No, it doesn't. It
Either
makes
way,
it easier.
back to the question. How or what would you do?
I mean, I'd say I'd count the $1 million, but it's like, am I going to skip your wedding?
Thank you for thinking I'll get
Wedding.
married.
I'm just saying. dude.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
She's out there.
Because again, once I count it the first time, there's
get the million
There's no
and-
more fun for me, right? Like I have to continuously count, or can I
Yeah.
just leave at any time?
No, so imagine.
Oh yeah,
a-
it's fun every time. Who cares about the money?
Exactly. And so I think it's a great eye-opening, like I said, a lyrical genius, ahead of his time maybe. He's bringing up something where you think it's such an obvious answer, and then you're pegged with the exact question, and money isn't that tight. We think it's tight.
I
but
can
it's-
get $1 million and then I can have fun.
You cannot, and that's
Why
my
not?
point.
I already counted the million.
Because anytime you're about to have fun, a la the lyrics, fuck the club dog, I'd rather count $1 million. So it's a this or that.
But then it's like I'm not getting the opportunities to have fun anymore.
No shit. Hence the fucking question, moron.
But I'm saying if I'm not having fun anymore and I'm just counting the money, wasn't it just I'm just counting money?
This
like,
is the
if-
whole premise of the argument. It's making you realize that $1 million isn't fucking cool because you're not having any fucking fun.
But I'm getting a different million every time I don't have fun.
Sure, you'll end up with 100 billion million.
Well, then yeah, I'm
however
counting
many
the
you
million.
can, however
Then yeah,
many-
I'm counting the million.
however you can count. You're just by yourself all the time.
Why do I have to be by myself?
Because anytime you're about to have fun, you got to go count $1 million.
I can't have fun by myself.
That's what she said. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like
It just
it's
like I can have
stupid.
fun in my own house.
Can you?
Yeah,
Well, if you're about to have fun, you got to go count. That's my point.
as I'm just counting all day.
Do you have fun all day?
What if counting $1 million is fun to me?
Now.
Nah.
Incepciones. See, but I think it's fun to think sometimes.
Yeah. Because at first, counting those first million a couple times, I'd be like, yeah, it's kind of tight.
Yeah, you're like, fuck,
This is tight.
$5 million. I have had zero fun, but I am now a millionaire. And then, yeah, see? Brandon Dutteroy, what would you do? What would you choose? Say it loud, say it proud.
At this point in life,
And
I get to choose,
Any point.
and it's
It's $1 million.
You can't go back in time.
You
You're
can't
going
go
to change
back,
some
$1
things.
million, no fun. All the fun you could ever imagine, $0 million.
Why can't I earn $1 million on my own?
Because that's not part of the thing. It's got to be options. It's got to be tough.
This guy makes ducats, though. So it's like,
What's ducats? Bozos?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
I might pay $1 million to move past this.
Okay. Well, you don't want to answer it, so fuck.
I already said it point blank.
He
Who
said
cares about the
He
money?
said cares about the money. Give
Nice.
it the good
Okay.
times.
Okay. Well, I just
He's all about GTs, dude.
just wanted to ask. Good times, good vibes. Okay. Speaking of those, let's get sad. Let's get worse. Let's worse than the best. The WABs. I will start.
Go ahead.
Happened today, actually. No, yesterday. I ate my colleague's cookies. It was really weird.
You do it on purpose?
So here's the thing. I'll tell you the story.
100%.
Backdrop. Bag of cookies, 3 to be precise. We're on a table, our back, counter table. They were there all day. I let them sit. I let them ride. Nobody touched them. Nobody moved them. Nobody put a note on them. Nobody put them anywhere that solidified some sort of boundary, some sort of off limits. These are my cookies. So I said, hey, we got done. We closed. I asked the 2 people I closed with, Brenner, another colleague of ours, Skr. And I said, hey, are these your cookies?
You didn't ask me.
Well, because I knew they weren't your fucking cookies. I'm not stupid.
Well, you just lied.
It's awareness. But I said, hey, are these your cookies? He goes, no. I said, nice. They're mine now. I took them with me. And I ate them. They were some of the best cookies I've ever had. The kind that look big, that might crumble, and as soon as you bit into them, chewier than shit.
Were they crumble cookies?
I don't know. They're in a bag. But
Could be expensive cookies. Bro.
showed up the next day, and again, our colleague, shout out Sarah, she said, I had cookies. They're on this back table. They're not there anymore. I ate them. And it's a bad taste in my mouth. Not the cookies, but it was just one of those, like, I'm not that person. I don't like if somebody ate my lunch, I would be just livid, but I feel like I gave enough time and, stuff passed, and I ate the cookies.
Because you asked one person if it was theirs.
But they weren't yours.
I know.
I talked about
and
this
I know,
a
and that's
couple
what-
times ago, like in
trust
the
me,
break room, dude.
It's
People
driving
just going around grabbing stuff and just, I was drinking my pops and then eating my food, and I'm just like, well, and they're like, well, I didn't know whose it was. I was like, clearly it wasn't yours.
I know, and that's why I said, like, I feel bad, and I think I'm just gonna go get like crumble cookies or something to make up for it. But it's just,
Good luck, dude. Stand that line.
I know it's bad, but it's just they were so good.
Yeah.
I just think it's ironic because, again, like I told you at work, like
Staring at me all day.
you hate
Yeah.
when this happens, not just to you, but just in general. You're just like, why would somebody do that?
When
And then you
somebody
just
does
go
it,
do it.
That's
you
right.
just think like somebody brought in cookies for everybody? And those are just the leftovers?
Well, to my slight defense, our back room is just a fucking mosh pit of bullshit. So who knows what's
There
what?
were 3 of them in a small little plastic baggie.
No name.
Like it was clearly individual.
But I will
Like a
say,
Ziploc.
Yeah.
so to like
Yeah.
shit on my own take, like those are the moments where if we could, like if we lived in like Fantasyland, I would call the Avengers. Like I would fucking summon Thor and just have them lightning bolt somebody to death because it's like those aren't yours. Don't eat them. Don't touch them. But I
Just ask Thor to kill you.
no.
Smite
I mean-
me, oh mighty smiter.
And again, like I think there's
Yeah.
a clear,
It was a bad beat.
I don't want to say like divide, but like some things you can tell are just kind of communal. Bag
Yeah.
of chips, things like that. People are just gonna put their hands in and just grab some.
I don't know.
Because we do have that in our
Yeah,
back
everybody
room.
loves
Like
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
like there's plenty of things where just like, okay, this isn't someone's meal.
Cookies
Yeah.
feel pretty close to communal to me.
But when they're in their own individual
Individually wrapped.
Ziploc bag,
Eh.
especially if it's like a small snack bag, like not a gallon bag.
Right.
Because then you could be like, well, maybe there was a dozen in here, and
They were-
everybody got one. And
Well-
these are the last.
well,
three.
the best part
They were big cookies.
is when I went back there on his lunch. He had already eaten. Well, he might have been in the act of eating his lunch, watching something on his phone, and then there was these cookies already next to him. And I said, "Oh, dude, you got a nice little setup here, a little lunch, a little dessert." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Not mine." He goes, "Just staring at him. Willpower though. Willpower for days." And just keeps looking at him, looking back, looking at him, looking back. And I didn't think anything of it. And then today he had that thought. They're like, "Hey, I had cookies." And Travis is like, "Yeah, you don't anymore."
That's my bad. Yeah, so that one's on me. All right, put that one on me.
willpower for days, hours.
Day.
We got it.
Take the S off. Just day. Yeah, it's my worst. Letting down the colleagues. Eating the cookies.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Menace to society right here.
Literally. I mean,
But then again, like, what's the time period to where they become communal? Like, would you say like after
One
like
day.
2 days?
nope, one day.
Well, now I got to set the
End of business.
if you knew,
precedent. One day.
if you knew like our overall aura, mantra, whatever the fuck you want to label our back room, people know where their shit kind of is, and that table's just a fucking slaughterhouse. So it's like they're sitting there, I'm eating them.
Staring at me. I'm looking at them. They're looking at me. We're looking at each other.
It was a beautiful marriage.
That was tough and funny.
Thank you. My worst.
Okay.
Cookies.
What kind of cookies were they? Do you
Chocolate
think?
chip.
Just classic.
Yeah.
Oh, homemade.
Ah.
They were. I won't let it go. They were really good.
The irony is that a customer brought them in for Sarah to eat.
And I will let him know or her know that they were exquisite.
Tough.
Yeah. Sorry. My
You
worst.
got to get the name of that customer and be like, hey, man,
Does
I'll
the
slip you
type
some
of
money.
cookie
Mrs. Fields.
determine whether you would eat it or not? If it was like macadamia nut, you'd be like,
20. Oh, macadamia? You nuts? That's Subway's best cookie. No, it is. But it was chocolate chip. I could see it from a mile away. I had them eyeballed.
What if it was oatmeal raisin?
Fuck
Pass.
no, I'd throw them in the garbage can.
What if it was oatmeal chocolate chip?
I'd kill myself trying to figure out if I'd eat them. Raisins are so fucking stupid, dude. There's little squished up grapes, and we already talked about it. They're just gross.
No, I think the cookie absolutely depends.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of cookies I'm leaving on the table. And that's coming from a guy who loves cookies.
sugar cookie,
Yeah.
icing.
None.
No.
The icing, yes, but just a plain sugar cookie.
Any
Nah.
cookie with icing on it gets fucking demolished. I'll say that right now. Icing rules.
Hard
Do you like
pass.
the Walmart like
Yeah.
The bit.
frosting sugar
The
cookies that
$1.99
come in?
bin.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Yeah, I
are
love those, dude. Leave your mouth drier than hell, but you're just
deleted.
Yeah.
Deleted. All day. Oh.
people hate them. It's a pretty
polarizing cookie.
polarizing cookie on
Yeah.
Facebook, dude.
No.
Every time they come around, they're like, "If you eat these, you're fucking trash."
I take a row down and then I breathe and then I just take the other row down. They're so good.
That's a lot.
Good cookies.
You should bring them in. These are for everybody.
That's my worst. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to tag onto the guilt trip.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, this
I love the skip
this goes
around.
right into the worst for
We'll
me.
zig and zag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, coworker comes into my makeshift office right now.
Do you have an office?
in between offices?
It's
right
being built.
Guy makes ducats. I told you, dude.
So
Can't hide money
I'm sitting down.
I love the in-between office.
until the corner suite's open.
Right.
Go ahead.
So she comes in. I'm sitting down. She's standing up. So
I like where this is
chest
going.
level, eye level, right?
Oh,
And she's got something clearly right across her chest that I don't know what it was. And
Breasts?
so I'm thinking like,
Bosoms?
do I say something? But clearly,
Oh.
I'm like looking at her chest to tell her like, you have something splattered across your shirt, right? Nipple line. I opted to play the safe route and acted like I didn't see anything for a 3-minute conversation.
Stare at the ceiling.
Immediately walks out. 5 minutes later, comes in and goes, "What the fuck, man?"
Why don't you tell me my tits were all
Right.
dirty?
And I was just like, "What?"
What are you talking? I didn't even notice.
You're like a little kid. What? I didn't see anything on your boobie.
how long have you worked with this colleague?
Only about 3 months.
Okay, so there's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like
You
a.
can't
Yeah,
just be like,
the
hey.
trial
I mean,
period just ended. 90
She's
days.
cool and everything, but it was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay at this.
What did the mess emulate?
So she was actually helping take some cupcakes from the conference room into the break room,
Uh-huh.
and so the plastic
Little
cover-
icing.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
That's a tough one.
Hot
So,
icing?
yeah, I just felt guilty. I
was,
saw it. She walked out. I don't know for how long. Obviously, only 5 minutes, but I don't know how long.
Oh, I mean, I think in today's climate, you absolutely have to do that. You just have to act like nothing happened.
Yeah.
But you could also be a gentleman and be like, I think you got some icing on your tits.
That's not a gentleman.
You don't say it like that. I'll tell you that.
You might just be like, hey, when you get a chance, go look in the mirror. I think you have something on your shirt.
You getting a food fight or?
No, what's so
Your balls are showing. Bumblebee tuna.
my favorite. So Jay and Silent Bob, one of the funniest movies like to date. It's a comedy that everybody should go watch again if they have a chance. But it's one of those where they're having a conversation with the chicks, and I forget who's the really hot chick from American Pie.
Tara Reid?
No, the foreign one. She plays the foreign one.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's in Jay and Silent Bob, and she's the one that like actually likes their company, like thinks they're two funny like stoner guys. The other two are just getting pissed off about something, and Jay just goes, "What's twisting this bitch's tit?" and what's her nuts goes, "Maybe it's because girls don't like to be called bitches, Jay." It was just like this enlightenment moment. Makes me think of that.
You're right.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's just
All
made,
right.
made me thought of it. Sorry. You're
First Jeezy. Now
you're
Jay
weird
Silent
on the
Bob, dude. I
podcast,
love it.
dude. Behind closed doors, you're a villain. You're a menace. But man, you get fucking holier. than
No,
hell.
I'm not.
All right, what's your worst?
My
Skirt.
worst
Yeah.
is driving through the mountains. It's not fun.
Not a scenery guy, huh?
No,
No,
it,
it's just windy as shit.
it is windy. It is high. It is. There's no guardrails.
Mission Impossible.
I went up and down probably 10 times. And the first like time or two, you're just kind of like, okay, I'll be careful. And then you just don't realize like how like sweaty your palms are and just like you're hunched over the steering wheel.
Knees weak.
And I'm just like, my neck still
Mom
hurts,
spaghetti?
my back. I'm like, I didn't realize how stressed out I was. Like,
think
because
you're
my
just
body's telling
Afraid
me.
of heights.
Well, I
And he
think,
had kids. I'd imagine.
yes, like everybody was in the car. I drove the entire time.
That adds a little.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
this just isn't fun.
Okay.
And I just don't understand how people are like mountain living.
'Cause
Like,
it's all. Look around. Open your eyes. Answer. What do you mean?
okay, I got up here. Like literally, it was less than 2 miles.
I don't get the mountains. Look at them.
from up there to down like on the main drag, and it took like 15 minutes. Like if something happens to you up there, there's just no getting down. Period.
No, you gotta learn to survive. You gotta be a
Like
mountain
that's why
person.
it's like when those fires came, like people just died. Like because there's no ambulances.
But you're focusing on the bad. Like you're the guy that's like, enjoy the journey. Life's the journey. That's the whole motto.
No, that drive is not an enjoyable journey. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
It is. You're in the mountains. You're such an idiot. Can I have another noon?
It's probably good if you're a passenger. He's just saying, as the driver, it's not good.
I don't. Ooh, watermelon.
'Cause
Way
you
to
just have
finish
the
it
re-
off again.
You just have the responsibility of everybody in the car.
Yeah,
You also have the responsibility to be like, look out the left. Beautiful.
I can't do that when I'm driving 1,700 feet above sea level.
Your hands at 10 and 2 too. Jesus Christ.
Yes, they were
Yeah.
the entire time.
Probably white knuckle gripped it.
100%.
Good God. I take it back. Watermelon is the best flavor, hands down.
You're an idiot.
Passion fruit was close for a second, but anyways, Dut, what's your worst? Round us out. Keep the vibes low.
Mine happened yesterday. I got part 1, part B, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So early in the morning, so last week got a text from my sister-in-law. Was like, "Hey, our neighbor son wants a perm.
Nice.
Can you do those?" I said, "Yeah." She was like, "Well, I couldn't find it on your Booksy app." I said, "Well, I don't book them. I do
Because they
them
take
like
a
on my
long
day
time,
off
right?
because it take a long time. I want to make sure I do it right, and I don't want to be rushed and then drag my whole day back."
Yeah.
So I was like, "I do them on my day off." She's like, "Okay." I was like, "Just give her my number. We'll set something up."
Yeah.
Set something up for Monday at 3:30.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be getting out of school.
Hashtag grind.
Right? Yeah. I show up. They proceed to not show up. I wait an hour, no text, no nothing. And I was just like, go back into the text, and I look at it, and I said, "Yep, clearly labeled Monday, February 20th, 3:30 p.m. She said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, you just got on the shit list. You're banned. Don't text me back."
I love that you say you're banned. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to do a perm on somebody when they're not physically there.
Yeah.
I can confirm that.
So I drove all the way there for nothing. Luckily, somebody walked in.
I thought you meant you drove and like met them still. I was like, that's
Oh, no.
bold on you.
No, like I
Yeah.
was just sitting at the shop waiting on them. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Luckily, the Copper Canyon guy was heading to Vegas, and he was like, "You fit me in?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Yeah, I can,
Yeah.
but I got some time now."
Would love to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a total waste, but I was like, "Fuck that.
Yeah.
I hate that shit."
Do you
That's
have-
why there's a cancellation policy, and people are going to start to I'm going to start sending you the link, and you
Well-
can't text me anymore to make a thing, because if you cancel in the text message, I get it. You're trying to find the loophole to where you don't have to put your card on file, and I can't charge you. Now I'm just going to be like, okay, well, now you're just banned.
I'm excited for you because I want you to have a little black book, and I want names to be in it. Starting with this, was it your son-in-law, daughter-in-law? Who
Well,
was-
no, it's just the neighbor. I don't know who.
Oh,
it
the
is.
neighbor.
Sister-in-law's
Yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law's. Yeah.
Yeah.
No response back still.
Black book.
They haven't texted
Never
me back.
apologize.
Nope.
That's a
Well, I
bad-
didn't text
That's
them.
worse than eating
I didn't
cookies.
text them because I'm like,
Is
well, I don't
it?
know what I'm supposed to say. Just to be like,
No
hey,
call, no show.
you missed your appointment.
I know. It's like,
You
how
want to
long-
book again? Is it $5,000?
How
I'll
long
put
do
you back on.
How long do you wait to send that like snarky message of like, "Hey, missed you
I was
guys,
gonna
sorry."
send it. I was
Yeah.
gonna send it in an hour, but as I was waiting, I was texting all my people for Friday and trying to book them.
Yeah.
I kind of just lost time.
He just
So
moved on.
Whatever.
Yeah, over it.
It's a bad beat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you.
Dude. But last night
Oh,
I had to stay up until like 4 a.m.
Nope.
because
that's
so me and Molly were in bed, laying in bed, watching TV, about ready to fall asleep. It's later than we usually fall asleep, but not that late. It's probably like 1.
okay.
Cat's going bananas outside.
Love that, Bob.
He's just like, "Oh, you're asleep. Time for me to wake up. House to myself. I'm
Mhm.
doing crazy things."
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right." I don't know what this dude did, but he made a sound from like his underbelly. It sounded like a grown man. And this dude was like jumping, and it sounded like footsteps.
oh,
I thought somebody broke into the house.
bro.
Like I heard the first noise, and like my ears perked up, and I was like, and then the second noise came, and Molly was like,
That ain't a
"Is
fucking-
Molly?" He's like, "Is Bob being really loud?" And I was like, "I don't think that's Bob."
Yeah.
Jumped out, locked the door.
Chinese stars.
We're in there now.
Oh.
I told her get behind the bed, and I'm sitting there just waiting at the door.
You got a gun?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, bullets?
Yeah, but the
Okay.
whole shebang.
Wow.
Blanks. Could
Safe-
you imagine?
Safety off?
Yeah,
I got a
dude.
gun. I got a gun.
Yeah,
It's
I
full of
didn't say
blanks.
nothing. I didn't say nothing. I was just
God.
waiting for that handle to jiggle, and I was going to unload.
Yeah.
I don't know who was in the house, but they would have got fucking lit up.
Sideways kill shot.
Yeah.
Cow, cow, cow.
So like you're in
First
your,
shield defense.
it's like you're in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So you have your bedroom door shut at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So the handle turns, you just unload, or do you
Yep.
wait to see the door open?
Nope.
No, because it's locked. I just hear that thing jiggle. I know somebody's in the house.
You put a couple warning shots. Yep.
There's nobody that has a key to our house. There's nobody like there may be like 3 people that know the garage code, but they wouldn't
Oh, I
just
thought you meant like
come
you're in
over.
your bedroom.
We're in our bedroom.
Yes.
But I'm saying to get into our house,
Right.
Garage or die.
I think one person may have a key.
1, 2,
And
3,
2
4.
people know the
Oh,
garage
okay. So
code.
what you're saying, once they were already in, clearly they had somebody that would
They
have been
broke
broken in. Okay.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting guests at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Does anybody?
Right.
Whew.
So then We just sat there in 15 minutes, complete silence. I'm tense, and I'm just like, what is gonna happen right now?
I love an adrenaline rush though.
And then I was just like, didn't hear anything, and I was just like, flipped the light on, was like, hey, who's in here? Nobody. So I was just like, didn't hear a sound, didn't hear nothing. So I gotta clear each room. Clear, clear, clear. Checked all the
Full
locks, checked
presentation.
all the windows, everything was locked, and I was just like, this fucking cat, man.
I had to put it down.
My heart
No.
my heart was
Guns already locked.
racing.
Guns already locked and loaded.
No.
Did you get the mag light?
Oh yeah, tactical flashlight,
Yeah.
dude. Blind them.
No, put it on the pulsator so it like flashes them.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
the way to go.
Yeah, we were in there, and I was just like, all right, well,
Bunker down, man. Good for you.
not going to sleep now.
Almost had a B&E. That is the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
turns out might be my best because it wasn't.
It's true.
Oh, okay. Yeah, speaking of, so Bess, let's turn them upside down. The
Bring it
negative-
up, bring it up.
The frowns, let's turn them around. So I have 6. So I'm going to rapid fire them.
Oh,
That's a
No,
good.
it's-
That's a good week.
I know.
cookie 1, cookie 2, cookie 3.
And now I got 3 more. That's fucking good. Okay, so
And he took him home to eat him too. He didn't even eat him at work.
Ooh, these are gonna be so good at home.
no, okay, 1. Molly had a perfect Loki joke at the end of Ant-Man 3. I don't know how Dut and I, honestly, with all the quips we do with each other, well, you too, like, what did she say? She goes, that was low-key good.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that was so good. It went right over my head. I loved it. 2, I got free air in my truck tires. I pulled up to Kroger. The chick came out of the gas station. He goes, you want me to turn that on? I said, me? Yeah. I said, yeah, that's awesome. I have to do all 4 tires. So she
Turn me on.
goes, yeah, she goes, okay. Got free air. 3, Chipotle has a drive-through. It's called Chipotlane.
Nice.
There are
I like
only
that.
there were 100 to start at the end of 2021. They are now up to, I believe, roughly 300 or 400. So Fort Wayne is one of the few people in America to have one. 4, dog sitting dogs. It just slaps. 5, I think Wordle's back. You, ironically or unironically, send me text messages to get me spiced up, and I love it. 6, movie March Madness.
Hell yeah.
The slate for March in itself would make any moviegoer come in their pants.
Okay.
And it's nice.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, aroused. Creed 3, Scream 6, Shazam 2, John Wick 4, 65. I don't know what else, but it's good. That's my best. Rapid fire.
MMLD.
MMLD.
Magic Mike Last Dance.
Yes, Magic Mike 3. Kicked it off right. Salma Hayek. Sheesh.
Yeah. So,
That's my best.
I mean, again, I love that you had a good week. You rattled off a few.
6.
But when you found out Chipotle had a drive-through,
Yeah.
you said it was one of the 10 best things that's ever happened to you.
I said it would be 9 or 10.
Like, that has to just trump everything else that happened this week. Like, that needed to be a standalone.
No, I'm not
I
going
was
to put it over
expecting
Molly. Molly's a great human being, and I'm going to put Chipotle over her. That's just rude.
Molly's number 8.
I was to say, is she one of the 10 best things that's happened to you?
No, she's number 1 for my best.
You don't get it.
Yes, you don't get it. It's my fucking week.
Right, but 10
Go.
best things that ever happened to you.
Can we go back around? I have a new worst.
Next week.
No, my best. Obviously, I went on a little ski adventure this weekend. First time for the girls.
Didn't hit the mountains, though. Stayed down low on the hills.
Actually, didn't. I went skiing. Went up the
Congrats.
lift. Did the hills. Black Diamond if they had it. It was closed though.
Okay.
No, I wasn't gonna do
Because
that.
there's no snow.
They made their own snow.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cocaine.
and
The
it,
last
Cocaine
day,
Bear.
It didn't look like much.
Great
on
Another
the
movie.
Mark.
the first day there wasn't as much, but it was weird because the second day I thought was actually warmer, and the snow lasted all day from like the view. Because yeah, we didn't ski Sunday, we seen Scatterday.
Scatterday.
But no, so we get out there. First of all, skiing's just fucking expensive.
Not really.
Like you're paying for the lift, all that stuff. I mean, it was.
That's why white people do it.
I hear that.
No, because which one did you guys go to?
Ober Mountain.
Never heard of her.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, basically, I paid like $130 for my 7-year-old to ski for an hour.
Oh, well, yeah, because you got to pay for, like,
Everything.
your family. I just paid for me. That's pretty cheap.
Idiot. But no, so we get out there, and obviously we don't pay for like the ski lesson or anything like that.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like we're just gonna teach you, you're just gonna fall.
Pizza, French fries, man.
Exactly. Parker gets out there and just hates it. I mean, within 10 minutes, crying. So she goes back inside and hangs out with my mother-in-law for a while. Piper, bless her heart, she just fucking gets it.
Duh.
She's just going down a hill.
Athlete.
And I go down there a couple times with her. We go up the lift, and it was me, her, and Tierney. And she's just like me. Like, she doesn't like heights. But she trooped it out. We went down. But then Parker, to just my, thrill, honestly, was just like, Dad, I want to give it another try. And I'm like, hell yeah, kid. Comes back out, does it by herself, goes down the little bunny hill, makes it. And I'm like, good for you. Like, it honestly takes a lot. Because, I mean, she was crying
Oh, really?
how mad she was. Yes. And then when you go into like the lodge, they had like the skating rink and all this other stuff. Piper never skated in her life, goes out there with Tegan and Parker,
Cuts it up.
twirling, just doing all kinds of shit. And I'm like, at some point, you're going to start pissing people off.
A double, what's that called? A double,
Axel.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I just got to see the girls ski for the first time. And
yeah.
again, even though like naturally it came to Piper, I was excited that Parker was like, nope, this sucks, but I'm going to try it again. And then she
Yeah.
got it. Good for her.
A
I
lot
was
of
just
it,
tired of fucking Piper stealing her shine.
Right?
Like, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
because I think you cry and you like, you kind of piss and moan about it, and then you realize like we're here for the whole day. So I should probably figure it the fuck out pretty
Yeah.
quick.
I'm not wearing my jacket.
See, you get it, dude. You got to put it on. You'll be
I
fine.
will say though, like when there gets to be a lot of people out there, because I've only skied twice in my life.
Oh, there becomes like the etiquette, and it's tough to know like what that is.
Yeah, because I can't control myself sometimes. Like I'm not fucking a professional skier.
I get it. It's like the lake. You got to go in fucking clockwise order or whatever, and you got people tubing right across the middle.
Jerks.
Kill them.
You're like,
Yeah.
Pizza French fries.
Yeah. Pizza French fries.
They tell you to make a pizza to like slow down, like tilt you
So you point your skis together.
so it looks like a slice of pizza.
What if you're snowboarding?
Then they don't say pizza.
What food group did they use?
Fall down.
Fall down.
Yeah.
Fall down. Fall down.
Fall down on your butt.
Oh, I did see a girl ski down. Parker and I were down at the base. Tierney and Piper, Andrew and Tegan were coming down one of the hills. And this girl, she probably looked 14, was coming down. And it just looked like her ACL just got left on the hill. I mean, it just bent in. Ski went everywhere. And I mean, she walked back and got her ski. So I assumed she was okay. But I was like, oh my gosh.
I don't like thinking about that.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Nice.
That's bad beat. Your best.
my best.
Yes.
1A, avoided a potential HR situation.
the old
Breasts.
the old icing on the titty incident. The titty icing.
No, I guess small. 1B would be just Saturday, hung out with the boys, had some libations.
Just guys being dudes. We have
Chill.
what?
Libations.
What are libations?
Liquid courage.
Light
Right.
beers?
No.
Drinks.
What libations? Is that a word?
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. Let's get fucking libated this weekend. Man, okay, cool. That's nice. Where'd you go?
We were at Mitchell's and then met this guy down at 07.
He put a shift in at the fucking Mitchell's, dude.
But so here's the thing that people don't understand for anybody listening from the Fort Wayne area. Mitchell's has undercover decent food, all things considered, for like
Yeah.
the trash place that it kind of is known for. Well, not even really trashy, but just busy, gross. Average age is like 19 and a half. And like to get a drink, it's going to take a half hour. But like if you're there and you can like sit and enjoy yourself, like they've got good food.
Like if you go for lunch / early evening,
Yeah.
anytime before 11, basically,
Yeah. Well, there's
it's
no
good stuff.
there's no cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Nice.
Then he came to the 07, fell asleep.
False.
I respect it. You got too many libations.
Too many libations.
He was a libationality. Liability. I don't know how to say it.
Did you get in trouble from your Lyft driver?
No, that dude was a little weird.
Sus.
Well, I
Ponytail.
got you the Uber, but I guess you ordered a Lyft. I put you in the Uber,
2 cars.
but you said you had a Lyft coming. And
Can't
I was
hide
like,
money.
Nah, just getting this one right here, dude.
Good.
Which I think it was the Lyft was right behind him, and I was just like,
Which one do you want? Pick the sign, any sign. Okay, what's your best?
dude, crazy thing. I ain't gonna say it, but
Okay.
my best.
Yeah.
Yesterday, man. So Rocky used to be my barber neighbor. He moved back to Marion, opened up his own shop. Happy
Yes.
for him.
Yes.
But he had a daughter probably 2 months before he left. She's like 8 months now.
Happy dad.
Yeah. So he was in town and we got lunch together.
Yeah.
And I got to hang out with my goddaughter.
Oh.
She loves me. So it's tight.
What's her name?
Mila.
Mila Kunis.
Nope.
Okay.
Esparza.
Esparza. Mila Esparza.
Yeah.
Labiachene. What are they called? Libations?
Libations. Oh, and side note, saw Drew at where he was eating lunch. He was there with Junior and Danny.
He said, "See you on Friday."
He did. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"You ready?" I said, "I'm ready. You ready?" He's like, "Dude, I just need to get out of here." I was like, "All right, man. Right in front of the kids. All right, let them know."
Wabs.
Nice.
Wabs. How do we want to start the train?
Nice.
Famous
Choo-choo.
starting words.
Yeah, choo choo. Who wants to be the engine? I'm gonna be the caboose.
All right.
Yeah. Who did
Well-
who did the most homework on the alleged trains blowing up? Because we are now into conspiracy theory hour.
I don't think it's alleged. They blew them up.
allegedly. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So February 3rd,
Okay.
2023,
14 days ago.
14 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. 18. Off to a swimming start.
Nailed it.
Okay. Yeah. Uh huh.
All right.
Too
That
many-
many days ago.
The libations are hitting me.
Too many noons. A couple noons ago.
Mm-hmm.
A train heading through East Palestine derailed, containing hazardous chemicals. Probably, what they say, 20 cars full of chemicals.
What are these chemicals? Because that is my biggest gripe. Not to cut you off already.
Yeah.
Because people were talking about it at work, and they were like, "Oh my God, did you see another train derailed?" Which, you know, I'm sure we'll get to the second one too, or however many there have been. And I said, "Okay, but what are we saying here?" Because I'm like, accidents happen all the time. I'm like, old lady falls down and breaks her hip. Hazardous chemicals came out of her purse. You know what I mean? Like, what are we saying?
It turns an innocent turtle into a talking human being.
How do you
The
know?
ooze.
Oh, but what's it? What is it?
I think the main one was like vinyl chloride, which is different than polyvinyl chloride, which is like the breakdown of it, like the
PVC.
byproduct.
Which for any chloride non-expert, what does that mean?
It's not good for you.
In
Yeah.
what fashion? Because I
If
hate
you take
people-
it in, it's going to be bad for your body.
in
Yeah.
what fashion? Like I hate when people are like, "It's bad for you." Cheeseburgers are bad for me. I eat them all the fucking time. They're awesome.
Yeah.
It's probably going to speed up the old cancer.
Yeah. It's carcinogenic.
Okay, but again, where is the science? Where, like, you guys are? I keep saying it. Give me facts, Carfax, Snapple facts, something. You don't
Chemistry
have any.
minor. You got it?
That's like
I know something I read about was specifically if it combined with water sources
Mhm.
and absorbed into the atmosphere and then rained, you could have potentially hydrochloric acid.
develop in your body.
Well,
Raining hydrochloric acid.
yes.
Oh,
So-
because it's in the air.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So then now your chemical
See?
burns.
Thank you.
Right.
That would be bad.
No shit. You sound like, respectfully, Mom, love you. When that's bad for you. Tell me why it's bad. Like you need to know that, because again, now you're just creating a conspiracy, or what's that called? Like a
We're creating conspiracies
no,
on
like,
a conspiracy pod.
well, no, like you're creating a fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're just trying to.
Conspiracy?
You don't get it. But anyways, continue. Sorry.
I love that he was like, it clears hydrochloric acid. And you're like, oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though we said like carcinogens and toxins are bad for you. How?
Because you just kept saying they're bad. He gave you the example of, okay, it's in the air now because it crashed. These chemical toxins are in the. You didn't give me an example of it's raining and then it starts burning me because it potentially turns into acid. Focus. Go on.
Okay. So apparently it's polluting the ground, it's polluting the water, and next to the Ohio River, which could potentially be a huger thing than what they're speculating. But they evacuated the area and then told everybody after like 3 days,
You're
it's
good.
cool,
Yeah.
go ahead and go back. Now there's people claiming that it's hard to walk, hard to breathe out there. You can't see. There's burning sensations in their eyes if you're staying outside too long.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're having like not breathing problems, but it's just hard to breathe outside the air. And I'm like, well, how hard are you breathing?
Right.
What's going on? But then you have ones that are people are like, I live here, it's fine. like I don't know what they're talking about. Like
Super
you see
soldiers.
like a dead fox, 6 dead chickens, and a dead goat, and some fish in a river that you don't know they could have been dead already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's also true.
Well, because it's like anything else. We've created a world, a society where this is a money grab situation for
Yeah.
people. And
And
so
then-
how do you cut through the bullshit?
I think what people are just like really speculating about is last year Netflix shot a movie called White Noise,
Yep.
which is based off a book about the
This
same
exact
thing, the
same
hazard
thing.
thing. Yeah. And so they
Okay.
shot the movie in Ohio, and some of the residents actually were extras in that movie about a train tanker, like a semi-truck trailer, crashes into a train,
Mhm.
and then train blows up, chemical spill, the whole thing happens. So basically what happens in the movie is what's happening right now.
Gotcha. So then I have two things. One was somebody else had just been talking about how the Flint, Michigan water situation, how that was like a huge deal for everybody. And again, it's like this is the news of the week, so to speak. So it
Yeah.
feeds people, gets people talking, and then it just dies off like anything else. And people found out that like nothing really happened or nobody really fixed anything until like 9 or 10 years later. And it's like, so what is it to where it's like, this is just breaking news today. How do we know it's being actually handled versus just, well, you know, we're still getting traction on this, but we're going to have to put it to like page 6 because there's bigger news to be had. Harry Styles just wore another dress to the Oscars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did they, where are they at with that one specifically in Ohio? Because
That one specifically in Ohio is Norfolk Southern just got like summoned that they have to
Hey, they have to clean it up.
clean it
Yeah.
up.
and I've
So like
heard-
what they were going to do is they were just going to like bury that shit and
Like
then open
deep.
the rail and then just let it ride. Where really you have to dig up all that soil and everything.
remove it all
and remove
like you have to
everything.
extract
Yeah.
it somewhere, like
Yeah.
dump it in the ocean or something. Like I don't know where you put it, but you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah, at one point, I believe somebody had made a call to, well, let's just burn it off.
Yeah. So that was like the big thing, like the explosion. They were like, well, we can just light it on fire
Because
and burn
it's
it.
flammable, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
And
it's like
so
if you-
that's what caused like the huge mushroom cloud. That's what they say. They basically nuked Ohio.
yeah.
And then the fallout's coming from all that shit falling down from the
Which-
burn off.
Again, I will argue, argumentative both ways. Nothing actually blew up like in Ohio, correct? Like there's no town that was just nuked.
No.
Everything's still there. It's just the aftermath, the residue is what's going to have these lingering effects.
Yes.
Okay. I heard the other thing was they're trying to figure out how to pay these people in this smaller town.
Well, they offered, from what I heard, it was $25,000 just to
Flat.
the city.
Yeah.
And that was equivalent to like $5 a person.
And people were just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do you want us to do? And then they're just like, well, that's that.
Well, so that's where it got really interesting for me because that's like the little piece like of information that I got from somebody. What in that town, what was the town again?
East Palestine.
East Palestine. So what was like the average income there, so to speak? Or like, was it a town with like your cliche, Ohio country town of one stoplight, one street light type
Yeah.
thing?
So it's basically rural farmland.
Yeah.
So conspiracy theory of it is that Bill Gates for like the past like 10 years has just buying as much farmland as he can get his hands on.
And he's trying to level it all.
And he like owns some in Ohio, but all of that land is just like generational farmland passed down to families. So it's not like it's prime land, but it wasn't generating any money for anybody that's rich.
And so he's trying to get East Palestine out of there.
Yeah.
So he
So it's just basically his land that's left and he can control. So it's like, I don't know who said it. I was just reading some TikTok. It was like, if you control the oil, you control the nations.
right.
If you control the food, you control the people. And that's basically what it is. So it's
Yeah.
like he's buying up all this farmland. And then you notice like last year, all the chicken coops were just all of a sudden catching fire.
Yep.
And like all these like dairy farms catching fire.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, well now eggs are super fucking high and dairy's super fucking high.
Yeah.
And now you're like, okay, well, all this farmland's fucking probably ruined now. So
Yep.
now your produce is getting fucking high.
yeah.
And then you talk about COVID, and then you get into the big reset and how everything is just, okay, you shut the world down. Now we're flipping the switch back on.
Yep.
everything's starting to turn up. So you're like, okay, cool. We'll raise the prices here. We'll raise the prices here. We'll raise the prices here.
Yeah.
Because now we're trying to catch back up with the economy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
So it's, in theory, this small town in Ohio, Bill Gates allegedly is treating it almost like a city or a town when you have this like piece of land that nobody really knows what to do with, and then some billionaire just buys it and puts like a parking lot on it. But instead of a parking lot, he wants to put like his own farmland.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just trying to drive out the competition, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's moving in. We got to move everybody out. And it's like you make this land not farmable anymore. Well, now people are going to buy it, pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
They're going to get it cleaned up. And then you just have all this land that you got for cheap.
So is the end goal then allegedly for Bill Gates to just demolish this town?
I have no idea.
No.
I mean, it's just
But
a
like, is that-
conspiracy
The theory.
It's just a theory.
that's
Let's
what-
say yes, he wants to own a vast majority of land for him to be able to do what he wants, because right
Yeah.
now it's not profiting the elite.
yeah.
Well, so and it's like, why would you
Controlling the food supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
then why would
basically
you
is what
not
it is.
attack a little small town where it's like, we're just going to relocate you because this is going to be the easiest thing to quote unquote like demo, like
Yeah.
just get everything out of here because you're a town from 1992. Like, we don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's another train, right?
I don't know about these. There's like 3 trains and a truck that all fucking crash in the same week.
And they're all the same company.
The truck wasn't, but the trains are, yes.
Yeah.
So then you just find like all these videos of these railways, and you're like, yeah, I can see how that fucking thing is just
Yeah.
one quick little, and then you're done.
Yeah, it literally said it was a ball bearing on one of the wheels that
Yeah.
just basically snapped right before the explosion
Yeah.
happened.
And so like they were like, hey, we're running kind of hot. We need to stop. And they were like, nah, push it. Keep
Yeah.
pushing. And then there's a video of
yeah.
like the sparks flying right before it crashes. And you're just like, yeah, probably did.
Because
Yeah,
I don't want
probably.
to say we've had multiple movies on it, but as we've done these last 3 episodes, it's really made me realize like the art imitates life, life becomes art, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
that saying is. Like, we've literally made movies from all sorts of different things, and it's like we're getting real close to fucking iRobot. There's already been multiple reports of like, yeah, I think we can make dinosaurs again. And it's like, have you seen the 7 Jurassic Parks that are out? Like, are you stupid? And then there's the one of these trains.
Yeah.
Super 8. Great movie. Literally, it's a train that crashes in the middle of fucking nowhere, and these kids are filming a video, and they catch some
Oh.
archaeological alien that shoots out of it. The Crazies, I just saw that one came back on HBO. That's more of like a zombie movie, but basically a plane crashes in this little podunk town and like puts shit in their water, and it turns everybody into crazies, aka zombies.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how many more movies do we need? Like, before it's just like, this is just happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
I think media plays a big part into it because, like, if you read into how many train derailments are there a year, it's like 1,500.
That was going to be my next question. So
Yeah.
there's a lot.
There's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's you have a big one that makes news, then all of a sudden, oh, well, we got them distracted. So let's show more out there and more out there. And
How many of them have been hazardous?
Well, I say that's the big
Yeah.
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
And like they were like, to be considered hazardous, like the damage has to be over like $12,000.
Which feels like a very small number because I
Yeah.
feel like
So
a
that's
train
like a
car is
lot
like
of
50
derailments.
grand.
That's why like a lot of derailments aren't considered hazardous because they don't meet that threshold.
Okay.
But like once it passes that, then you're like, okay, well then that's hazardous.
Which is surprising because, again, it's a small number.
Yeah, it's a very small number.
Yeah.
And then this one was just happened to be like the largest one to ever happen.
But see, and so then
And if
that's,
it doesn't happen in a town,
Yeah.
and if it's just, in that part where the train is just like derailed and no one's around, or it's just traveling through
And if
God
it
knows
doesn't
where,
happen in that
it's not go-
specific town.
it's not gonna
where
do
that
anything.
Specific movie was shot. It's not a thing. They're like, oh, well, remember when Netflix created that movie? But now it's like, remember when Netflix shot that movie exactly in that town and this exact thing happens?
Yeah.
And you're like, all right.
and that's where I'm just like, again, we've made these. Like, literally. Why do we keep doing them?
Yeah.
It's weird.
yeah.
Okay, so basically trains are crashing.
Moonfall.
Moonfall.
Have you seen that movie?
Uh-uh.
I think something with gravitational force. They
It's like messing.
jack it up and
The
send them
moon
in.
crashes into the earth.
Right.
That's fucking heavy.
Moon falls.
Is that
on
Gerard
Earth.
Butler?
I'm sure it is.
No, I think it's
Geostorm.
I could
That one was
Geostorm.
Geostorm. Yeah.
But no,
I think that one's the
He was in one that involved the moon.
who's the guy that's in Insidious?
Insidious. I know
Yeah,
him. He's a good
that guy.
actor.
He's
Yeah,
like in Conjuring, Insidious.
I like
He's
him.
in like all these movies. Nobody knows his name.
Yeah, he's that guy.
He
that
literally
guy at
is
work.
that guy.
But I guess so. To tie a bow on the train thing, then my big takeaways would be: one, it's nice to know that allegedly these hazardous materials are, supposedly if the right combination of shit
Yeah.
happens, the stars align, like it's gonna fuck this town up. That's sad. That sucks. Shocker. We're doing nothing about it. It sounds like classic government. Like we're already 40 or 30 trillion dollars in debt. You think you just throw this town $1 billion? Like I don't think it's gonna hurt this fucking threshold of our negative income here. Like so that makes it weird. And then it's like, where are we at? Like if you pulled it up right now, or if we were in this town right now, what's the vibe like? Like what's going on, or has it already passed?
I'm sure the people there are pissed.
People are pissed. Yeah.
But like we've talked about, we don't care about it because it's already gone. The next thing's happened.
I'm off the grid.
The
so I don't-
fallout eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supposedly the fallout is going to reach us.
Right.
So it's like, well, when is that?
Well, it's Ohio. I mean,
Because it's the
neighbor
Ohio
state.
River. It feeds into the Ohio River, and the Ohio River feeds into fucking like almost every state.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love that.
Yeah.
Guess I'll have to get my Fiji water. But
I mean, if it's not raining, it's not going to hurt you, right?
exactly. So, okay. 9/11. September 11th.
The big one.
Yeah. This one, I don't want to say it's the Noons talking, but it honestly plays perfect into what I found out. So, we all know what 9/11 is.
Never forget.
Means this country. However, doing the research, I wanted to build up to the event,
Okay.
to the tragedy. In doing so, I ended up in my own fucking rabbit hole, and I think we have an argument for 2001 to be maybe the best year of all time. So you want to talk about a hot take? Well, hear me out. Here are the #1 weekend box office movies for
Love it.
2001.
Sure.
Castaway,
Solid.
Save the Last Dance,
Strike 3.
The Wedding Planner, Hannibal,
Stop it. Okay.
The Mummy Returns, Brendan
Okay.
Fraser style.
Underrated
Yeah.
trilogy. Was it trilogy?
It's a trilogy.
I thought
It's-
so, yes.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, Shrek,
The first one?
Pearl Harbor,
Nice.
Swordfish, The Fast and the Furious, the original one.
Is
Jurassic.
Pearl Harbor good without the song?
I honestly didn't. It was hard for me to watch. It was too long. Rush Hour 2, American Pie 2. Not to mention, this is September 16th. Hardball. Can you imagine a nation that just watched 2 towers go down and then G-Baby just gets popped? Insane. Training Day. Monsters, Inc. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Now we're talking.
Ocean's 11. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Hell yeah.
They close out the year?
Insane. Yes.
To the tragedy.
Yeah. Insane.
Harry Potter came out in November. I remember I went and saw that.
You
And-
talk about best and the worst.
But that's what I'm saying. So it was one of those where it really made me think, like, I don't want to say nostalgia is like, it's been back, so to speak, but it's like, fuck,
Dude, that's what Harry Potter did. It brought the freaking country back.
Yeah, it did.
Harry Potter came out in November. Everybody got over 9/11.
It wasn't Bush
dude.
throwing out the first pitch at Yankee
Nah.
Stadium. It was a Sorcerer's Stone.
It wasn't freaking Toby Keith saying.
No, it was Quidditch. So, Billboard's end of the year Hot 100. Hanging by a Moment Lifehouse. I want to paint you
Good song.
a picture of where we're at. If You're Gone, Matchbox 20. Independent Women, Destiny's Child.
Okay.
It's Been a While, Stained. It's been a while.
Nice.
You Remind Me, Usher.
Ooh.
Big track.
Where the Party At? Jagged Edge. Ride With Me, Nelly. Follow Me, Uncle Cracker.
They're big songs.
What Would You Do? City High.
Oof.
What would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on a bed? Miss Jackson. I am sorry.
Now, are these all pre-September 11th or just 2001?
2001.
So some of these happened after.
Sure.
Okay.
I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack. Get Your Freak On, Missy Elliott.
That's
Casey
definitely
and-
post.
Casey and JoJo, Crazy. Craig David, Fill Me In.
Best one of the bunch.
With Arms Wide Open, Creed. All or Nothing, O-Town. Three Doors Down, Kryptonite.
Nice.
Hold on, it keeps going.
I say you're not going through a whole 100, are you?
This I Promise You, In Sync. I'm gonna scroll through. Don't worry. There you be. No. Turn on. No. Play. No. Hold on.
I love that
guys.
your rabbit hole immediately went to the entertainment business, talking about a fucking 9/11.
Yes.
No, it's okay. I mean, I guess that's kind of EI, Nelly. But you get what I'm saying.
That's a good time for music and movies.
Hero Enrique Iglesias. List of the top technology things in 2001. The first Apple stores open, iTunes is released, and the iPod is released. Apple kind of solidifies themselves as the brand that knows how to control a consumer. So they were the ones that were initially the very bold, we're going to give you a slogan, and it's not just going to be something corny. It was the 1,000 songs in your pocket. And so from that point on, they just had everybody by the balls. Microsoft released the original Xbox, and Google released the ability to search for images.
Nice boobs.
That's what I put. 2001 was the first official year you could Google boobs and see them.
Game changer.
100%.
So all that to say, that was all I did research on for 9/11.
That was your 9/11 research?
It got me
I
just
love it, dude.
so caught up in the fact I'm 2001 was, all things considered, a really great year. Everything around it. So it was if there was ever a year for some crazy tragedy to strike, we had a lot of good shit around us to really build us back up.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been better if we would have known all that stuff pre and post to see how good it would have been after the fact or before.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Patriots won the Super Bowl that year, I think.
well,
It's America's team, dude.
that's the one last thing I was going to look up. Because I think it was actually the Ravens. Yep, it was the Ravens team. Young Ray Lewis, all them. Back of the defense. 34-7.
Didn't we talk about this?
Damn it, it's 2002.
This guy, he doesn't get it.
New England Patriots. I did it again.
Yeah.
Oops.
Hey, Trig.
But yeah. So I just wanted to again set the picture, and I think again
So we're riding high and we had to get brought down.
no, but again I do think tragedy struck, and then literally the country gave us hardball, which made it even harder.
They gave us Harry Potter, dude.
But to end the year, and that's what I'm just saying. Yeah, ebbs and flows.
I'd say.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
So I guess the obvious part. Let's go into why people think 9/11 was
A conspiracy.
Inside job.
correct. Yeah, I don't know if conspiracies were because it happened. So it's not like
The
whether it did or didn't,
multiple-
but it's why it happened or how it happened, I think is the way to
Yeah.
approach it.
Some might say the variance of the tragedy.
Sure.
Marvel. Go ahead.
Well, I think the biggest one is that the conspiracy theorists will say that the planes didn't actually bring the building down, right?
It's
Like
a
it was
demolition job.
it was a controlled explosion.
Correct.
That's the crux of the conspiracy theorists, is that
Yeah.
planes hitting towers that size, a fire have never caused a building to drop free fall style ever in the history of fires of high rise buildings or anything like that. You get the whole argument with, now we go with jet fuel. Can jet fuel
Melt steel beams.
No.
The answer is no. They can weaken them,
Yeah.
sure. But if you, again, not
The
I mean, once structural integrity is gone,
she'll stay afloat with the
Correct.
first four.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where the
all
whole,
bets are off, right?
that's where the whole misinformation starts to play in. That okay, so let's say floors 70 through 110 are demolished and on fire and whatnot. So in theory, if that steel weakens, it falls over
Right.
rather than
Collapses.
fall on top of itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it just seems very odd
Because
that
that's what I was going to say is
multiple buildings just fall onto themselves.
the ignorance in me is going to just say word vomit. A plane smoking the side of a building going half a Mach like 500 miles an hour, 400 miles an hour, probably is going to make the fucker sway a little bit. And instead it's like, just sucks it up and just like what?
Well, it's just one of the wings, to my knowledge, is what happened to the side. Like, it wasn't like it was nose head on
Yeah.
into the middle of the building.
Really?
Yeah, it
I have
wasn't
way more questions now. Where the fuck did the plane go?
ground.
Okay. Major down to ground control.
Yeah, you're thinking like Vin Diesel,
Well-
Paul Walker, and Fast, where they just
Yeah,
drive the car
building to
straight
building,
through.
yeah.
No, that didn't happen.
Okay. Well, keep going. I got to pee.
And I mean, so again, like that right there is probably enough to just feed people's hunger of like,
Yeah.
well, what the hell happened?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I didn't read into, like actual melting points in terms of what you have to get at, because I mean, they said at some point it was like, what, 1,000 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what that's doing to steel, but it sounds like it's not going to just turn it into lava and it just fall completely on itself. So I get that.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
that does make sense,
Yeah.
when you think about it. And again, one of the other ones that I read was that, they said that a missile is what actually hit the Pentagon, not another plane.
Yeah.
So we can jump to that one real quick
Yeah.
because that one is definitely has a lot more holes to poke into than the Twin Towers being hit by a plane, because
Building 7?
That one's follow the money, right?
the Pentagon one, is due to the lack of plane debris, unlike 9/11 or the Twin Towers, which collapsed on itself and kind of demolished everything
Mm-hmm.
except for the terrorist passports, conveniently.
Terrorists, you say, hey?
But yeah, so the eyewitness reports, the all the security footage. Again, the whole thing of any street cams, building cams, security cams were all confiscated and never released until
They wanted to.
correct.
Yeah.
And that all ties into the conspiracy theories. Like,
Yeah.
well, was this doctored now after the fact, or are you only showing us the bits and pieces that you want to show us?
Well, my whole thing was from the brief research I did after I got done with the movies and the billboards. The two towers go down. The one goes down, the second goes down, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Pentagon one and the one where it crashes in like a Pennsylvania just like
Mhm.
field, those happen after the fact.
Yeah.
Correct? Like a timeline would say like tower, Pentagon, field, or field, Pentagon.
Yeah.
That building 7 randomly where they show a chart in New York, that building just blows up for no reason,
7 hours after the tower's already fell
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
which is just insane to me. Like how do you just blow up a building and be like, oops, I guess maybe some more plane came. Like what happened there? Like what are we doing?
Yeah. And the
Something smells fishy.
right. And so specifically that's World Trade Center 7, I believe, building 7 specifically, because I
Yeah.
think there's 12 buildings in that whole
Yeah.
compound or whatnot.
Yep.
Obviously the 2 high-rise towers being 1 and 2. But yeah, building 7 is kind of unique here. Let me pull up some
Eat that mic.
small facts about building 7. 47-story WTC 7 fell straight down at free fall speed, largely into its own footprint. All the hallmarks of a controlled demolition. The main occupant was Solomon Brothers, large bank
Banks.
at the time. Yes.
Yep.
And also on floors 9 and 10 were Secret Service level buildings, right?
Interesting.
Or floors.
Yeah.
3 floors above that was SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yep.
And that New York Times reported that the building also housed a secret office for CIA for spying and recruiting foreign diplomats at the United Nations.
So this building was just like a home for like all of our secrets.
Yes.
I-
And
Oh, go ahead.
okay, so continuing on here,
Yeah.
some more. Larry Silverstein, the building's owner.
Does he have any affiliation to the government, or is he like just the lucky person that happened to own this commercial real estate.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he falls with the Rothschilds and the
But either way, he's probably
Rockefellers
paid
and
very.
yes.
Did he have
constantly-
insurance?
Conveniently
He took it out.
renewed it just
Before.
before,
Okay.
Smart man.
right? And so
Yeah.
1993.
You smell that? There's something in the air.
1993 was the
Chloride.
World Trade Center bombing. If you remember that in the
Didn't know
in the
that.
basement,
Didn't
yeah.
know
So
that. Yep.
that was
Okay.
a real terrorist attack where they tried to take out the foundation with C4 explosives and multiple vans full of these explosives in one of those
Bold
buildings.
strategy, Cotton.
Hey, guess what it did? It
Nothing.
didn't knock it down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Shocker.
Take
the
out the
integrity
base.
of these very important buildings are sound.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously he took out insurance, and now terrorist events are now covered under this policy.
Yep.
Conveniently.
Well, to piggyback off of your insurance stuff while you're looking up more
Mm-hmm.
information, the thing I read that was peculiar was the trades and the stocks and everything.
Yeah.
So they said leading up to it, like up to 3 days before, or like the final 3 days, basically all the airlines that were involved in these terrorist attacks, these hijackings, trades were like in some cases like 10 times what they usually were traffic wise, and it's just like, who caught wind? Like,
Right.
who knows what we don't know?
There was a bunch of puts put in on the whole airline industry.
Yeah.
Knowing that they were going to tank.
And then the crazy thing too is the other weird conspiracy is they said that NORAD, like our nation's defense people, were just told to stand down.
Yeah, like they knew it was coming.
Yeah, so it was like normally like F-16s would just fucking zoop there,
Yeah.
shoot them
Yeah.
down. Everybody get the fuck out of our like airspace. Nah, go take a lunch. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Like, I don't like it.
Well, I think what's also crazy too about, Building 7, if you go online again and you start looking at some of this stuff, which I feel like in 2001, it's a bigger deal because now I think we're going to, and going forward with all the AI stuff that's coming out, it's literally going to be impossible to differentiate between what really is happening and what was just doctored.
Yeah.
But there was a BBC report, apparently, that the fact that the collapse of of 7 World Trade Center was announced on a live report by a BBC news correspondent while it was still visibly standing behind her.
Guys, I hate to tell you, the aftermath of this really sucks, sweetie. It's still
So they're like,
standing.
yeah, so cited by conspiracy theorists as evidence that like major media organizations were basically knew what was going on, and they're like,
They got the script.
The time zone script is like, oh shit.
right,
They're delayed
Central
on that.
time. Ah, crap.
oops.
This was supposed to be the morning
Right,
news.
because like now, if you figure that, you're just gonna be like, oh, I can just remove you from a photo I took because I just can do that.
Yeah,
But back then, I feel like it's kind of hard to argue with that.
and that's where I said like it kind of all ties in, and I know it's ignorant as piss, but it's the social media aspect becoming more and more instant gratification to now where these heavily influencer type people, the whole ordeal for them is to go live, and it's in real time to the realest time it can be, and you're not going to be able to have some news crew doctor the news that night, or you're not going to be able to have them put a camera on and it's like put a green screen, whatever they do. And I think that'll make it really interesting. So it's like, make 9/11 happen now. Does it happen? I don't think so.
Well, I think the
The
events.
amount of angles that you would get, like it would be The Dark Knight, where he creates that whole thing for Morgan Freeman and he can see everything. It's like a sonar system.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we create as just society. And that's where I said is the awesome part, is because somewhere somebody's going to get through. Like, you can try and block off as much as you want. Some video is getting out there and people are going to be like, holy fuck, this is fake, or this is manipulated.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think
It happens.
social media today, it still happens.
Yeah, which is sad.
And all the videos still come out, but like, if you are just on the outside, there's plenty of videos that show what happened. But if you don't have that live video of like, oh yeah, here's a detonator in here on the 32nd floor,
Right.
it doesn't change it really.
Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they shut down all communications. Like cell phones wouldn't work in the city and everything like that.
The old
So like,
scrambler,
Yep.
EMP.
tailed his old time.
Yeah.
people trapped in the buildings, you're not getting voice recordings magically on people's voicemails of,
Yeah.
I hear an explosion I'm stuck on the 35th floor and
Yep.
I hear explosions everywhere and I can't get down anywhere. It's all blocked off.
That's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
so sad, so crazy. I don't. Ugh.
Well, and I think with this one, and when doing some of the research, because I mean, again, some of these conspiracies I've just been flat out like didn't happen, or it's just circumstance.
Like the moon landing
Yeah.
Right.
didn't happen.
Yep. But
Thank you for agreeing.
no, I'm just joking with you. When you look at stuff like this, and I think at the basis of all conspiracies, I think the bottom line issue is, and how we got started on this is who benefits from it. Like when things like this happen,
It's the elitists every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how do they do it? And it's like they said, follow the money. And after 9/11, the Pentagon's budget totaled over $14 trillion.
Oh, because they needed it.
Right, in
To
defense
buff up
spending.
security.
Yeah.
Correct. And basically over that time frame between
So,
Go
I
ahead.
was just to say, Halliburton was the major
Yeah.
contractor, owned in part by Dick Cheney, vice president at the time. Right? I'm sure that's probably
Mhm.
yeah.
Classic DC.
And there was no like open bids. I think they allude to it in that movie War Dogs, right?
Yeah.
That it's just basically is like free money for anybody that
Yep.
can have weapons and
Oh yeah.
gets contracts and whatnot. So
Yep.
it's all a buddy system, and yeah.
Yeah. What a great movie.
Oh yeah, they said
Miles Teller.
basically from the fiscal year, just from 2019 and 2020, of all like the defense spending, it basically went to 5 individual companies. That's it. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman, and it was to like the tune of like $256 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just Googling it here because, again, we were talking about it at work because of the train derailments and all that stuff where people, again, you have, I don't want to say ignorant people because I say a lot of dumb, ignorant shit that are like, a war's on the come up. Something's going to happen. And it's like, I promise you if something happens, well, I shouldn't say I promise, but America's pretty fucking sound. They're sound to the tune of $750 billion to second place is China of $237 billion.
I think we spend as much as the next 6 or 7 countries
Combined.
on
And it's like they
defense.
They
So it's
ask
like-
like, well, then what's going to happen because they have more people? And it's like, we're going to shoot so many fucking missiles that it's going to be 300 when they shoot the arrows, fight in the shade, and
Yeah.
you're just going to get nuked. And I'm sure we're smart enough, and I'm sure we got the physicists and the nuclear people that are like, blow them the fuck up, and then put some bubble around us that like saves us from the radiation. Like, I don't think we're going to mindlessly blow up somebody to just kill us ultimately like months later. Respectfully.
yeah.
But I think the point of all this stuff is that, I mean, obviously that's not the end goal, because if you're super powerful but you're dead, it doesn't matter. So it's these
Yeah.
people that are all over just pulling the strings to get A, B, and
Yeah.
C to happen, so they just maintain power.
And
So
it just, yeah.
Patriot Act, formation of Department of Homeland Security, NSA. So automatic freedom to tap into anybody's cell phone at any single time, go into anybody's records at any single time.
That's awesome.
That was all part of the Patriot Act to try to fight terrorism, right? But really,
Right.
it's just to bump up their spy game.
Because
Yeah.
what they pegged it and painted it as to us is like, hey, there's people that are dumb enough to go on Facebook, to go on Twitter and be like, I'm going to, do such and such to such and such a person. And
Yeah.
they're like, okay, well, after enough traffic comes from this one person, guess what, brother or sister? We're going to put some fucking people outside your house. You're
Yeah.
not going to see them, but they're going to be there. And they take that, and then it's the terms and conditions and the fine print's like, also, everybody else that's an innocent bystander, we're also watching you. Sorry, bye. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they just go, thank you for agreeing.
Yeah, it's just installing Facebook on your phone.
Well, TikTok, yeah, because Joe Rogan talks about it, and it's crazy how they.
Well, I think like Facebook, like Messenger and Facebook, I think was the first one that was just like, you're giving access to like
Yeah.
80% of your phone. TikTok now does even more. But yeah, it was like
Yeah.
one of the first ones where it's like, yeah, you just basically have no control of your phone anymore.
No.
TikTok, the only so everybody wants to act like they give a shit, but truth be told, we're gonna download these apps regardless. They're gonna be on our phones. Like, let's just call a duck a fucking duck. TikTok was the only one to me that Joe brought up to where it's saying that in the fine print, it's not only going to kind of harbor and extract all the stuff that you do, anybody around me. So you three right now, TikTok basically has some form of agreement or some technology to gain information on all three of you guys. which is fucking nuts.
I don't love that.
How is that a thing? Like that's crazy. And that's why I think technology's awesome, but it's really spooky.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That's why it'll be gone soon.
Off the grid.
TikTok.
grid.
I've been off. My screen time went down from roughly 6.5 hours to 3.5
Nice.
1 week.
Researching conspiracy theories.
Bingo.
Right.
They can't catch me.
Yeah, man.
Using the work computer, not the crouch computer. That's where they'd expect it.
Gross.
Yeah. But okay, so
Go ahead.
no, go ahead. You probably have something more profound.
Well, no, I just think it's funny. Like all the stuff that's out there. Like I said, I read something that there was a conspiracy about Jewish elites.
Yep, no Jews died.
Correct. And I thought like,
Yep.
oh, they were all told to come off. But then another report came out that like 119 were confirmed to be Jewish of the 2,071 victims, and like 72 and another 72 were also thought to be Jewish, and it makes up like almost 10% of the people that were killed.
Because that's pre-planning on a whole nother level. Hey, are you of Jewish descent? We're gonna need you to step off the bus. Like you can't do that. That's too tough. Like there's no way to.
Well, no, I think that's easy to let them know. My thing is like, it's like we said with the gambling book.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to pick some losers to throw people off your scent.
Oh, I see
Like
what
I
you're
can't get all you guys out of here. Somebody's gonna have to.
Yeah.
It's the opening scene of the Dark Knight or the
We're
Dark
gonna-
Knight Rises. Somebody has to stay with the wreckage.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to stay with the wreckage, brother. You're a shitty Jew. Yeah. I mean, that sucks. But yeah, I guess you need some guinea pigs.
Anybody that works below floor 42, sorry about you.
Right? And it's
You
like,
didn't rise high enough.
Right.
well, and so talking about building 7 for the World Trade Center, like I want to know, maybe that's different pod, different day. The fact that we have like a CIA, an FBI, an NSA, like we have all secret agents, all these factions of people that are like spying on each other, spying on us, spying on their own asses. Like what are we doing? Like you're a double agent to the agent, but he's the secret agent behind the double agent. And he's a triple agent, and now we're all like, what?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like let's just make an agency. Maybe Avengers.
Maybe.
Shield.
The Illuminati.
Shield? Yes.
The
Right.
agency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That to me is scary. I do think again it plays into our conspiracies that I feel like we've created through doing these episodes of what came after 9/11.
Sounds like a bunch of good movies and music.
What's your guess? Your guess is perfectly fine. There's no right answer.
From a conspiracy theory standpoint,
Just in general.
I guess I'm not sure where we're going with
That's
this.
okay. What came after 9/11 to you?
For a brief moment, unity.
Bingo.
Oh, okay. I see.
Unity everywhere. All sports avenues. It was just 9/11 this, 9/11 that. And I'm not discrediting it at all. Like I said, it's sad as shit. Brought us together. And then years down the road, what did it do? United 94 made these movies. All these things where it's like, oh, we're this country. We're a bomb. Like, and it's like, well, are you just throwing us off your scent again? Like, are you just being
100%.
assholes? Like, you're just
100%.
smearing it in our faces at this point? Like, that's where if you find out this is all just a hoax, you're like, fuck you, government. Like,
And I think now I'm catching what you're throwing.
yeah.
I think I read on Twitter, one of the greatest days was 9/12
Yep.
because we were so united and we're like,
Yeah,
okay,
Exactly.
obviously we have to rebuild, join
Yep.
together, fuck some shit up, whoever did this to us.
Yes.
Right. yeah.
And what happened, how many things were, donated, and then that goes into the rabbit hole of donations and how like hardly half of it even goes to the donators or the donatees. Like it's just drives me crazy.
It doesn't have a good ring to it.
Donatee.
9/12.
No, it does.
I don't love it.
9:15, let's have a good day. Cut the shit. Yeah. It's so
Talking
good.
3/4.
Yeah. But no, I guess let me do this game then. So let's do a where were you at? I was in, I believe, so it was 2001. I was in like 8th or 9th grade, maybe. Either way, I remember I was in my classroom and it was the classic, like everybody, there was chatter everywhere, but it's 2001. So you're just like, what the fuck's going on? Teacher wheels in the fucking, on the conveyor cart thing, the 32-inch tuber, and kicks it on. And you're just watching it in live time. And I feel like for me, at least, it was like, you really didn't know what the fuck was happening, but you're just like, oh, somewhere like in our country, really bad things are happening.
I was in senior econ.
Yeah.
Got to actually see the second plane.
Yeah. And you're just like, Oh, like this.
Is that Mr. Battershell?
He's an older guy.
Oh,
I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Who was senior econ?
Egley?
It's
I can't
9/11,
think of
guys.
it. Yeah.
Let's get back on topic.
No, the business class.
Yeah.
We had a business class, and the teacher was originally from New York,
What?
and like she had family members that worked downtown. And
You're
she was
just now telling
freaking-
us this?
freaking the fuck out.
Duh.
And obviously she can't communicate because all the
Why?
Towers are down. The EMP.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But we were watching it, and it was just
Dude, how do you just? How do you just now? Say
I don't know
that?
how you guys got to watch it. We were told not to watch it.
Because you just got brought. You just brought it
We're
up.
the same people.
She was like, "No, we're
Well,
keeping
Oh
this
yeah,
on."
it was on TV. Oh yeah.
Oh,
To
yeah.
me,
There was
we
an
were
announcement over because I
glued.
was a freshman and I was in Spanish class, Miss Garcia's class. She turns it on. She gets the announcement to turn it off, so she turns it off. Everybody's like, "Nah, click that shit back on. What is going on right now?"
Because I want to say like, and this is gonna sound fucking terrible. It turned into like a free day. Like
Basically.
every class was just TVs and people were just glued, and you were like, "What is going on?"
My mom called, told me to go. Don't go to practice. Come straight home.
You had a cell phone?
Yeah.
Nice.
Can't have money.
She was like,
God,
she was
money,
like,
baby.
you're the wrong color skin right now. I need you to come home.
What'd you look like?
This,
Oh.
the Middle Eastern,
Oh, okay.
a fucking
This?
terror.
You think he changed?
Well, I was just like, oh, because you do get tan.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean,
Made less of a beard.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
you didn't have your beard.
yeah, but they didn't care.
They
Supposedly,
the
Already.
whites.
supposedly,
The whites. They didn't.
supposedly they didn't care.
Okay.
Nah, I was like, that's crazy talk, but all right, I get it. I guess.
Because did you ever get the same talk brand in school or no? Like that you're like, he's one of them, I think.
I'm not saying he didn't give a shit about him.
No.
He was like, do whatever you want.
one jump.
Justin,
ahead.
please come home.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's all I have on 9/11.
Well, so I mean, I think what we haven't really, we've kind of done on some of these that were up in the air about it.
Hoax or no hoax?
Correct. Well, I
It's
mean,
like
this
what
isn't a
the-
hoax because it happened.
Well, the thing is, like, what's the conspiracy about it? Like, why did it happen?
right.
So it's like, if you read, like, some dude wrote a book called 9/11 Follow the Money.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently there's like $2.3 trillion that was being investigated that was in the SEC commissions building or level in
Building 7.
building 7.
Yeah.
And that dude was like 2 days away from blowing up the whistle. And they were just like, building blew up. We
Sorry.
don't know what happened. All the records got inflamed. We don't know.
So
What are you talking about? $2.3 trillion? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
So a guy was about to go full Snowden,
Oh, yeah.
and they just blew up the building instead.
Yeah.
They said we're gonna kill everybody, no Jews though.
I think Pentagon was something
10%.
similar. That
Yeah.
their budget was way off, and they had billions of dollars unaccounted for.
Okay.
And the
Oh, like-
section of the Pentagon building that got blown up was
The accounting.
the accounting department.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about a massive overreaction.
And
You mean to tell me there isn't an easier way to get rid of a floor full of documents? I get my man's getting ready to blow the whistle.
Well, we also
paper
needed,
shredder, paper shredder, paper shredder.
Small fire just
we
on this
also-
floor. Weird.
We also needed a reason to invade fucking Saudi Arabia
And Afghanistan. Yes, that was a
and
big one.
Iraq.
The Middle East, yeah, was
Yeah.
a big thing.
Hence
So it's
the
like
$17
back
trillion.
in the day. Yeah, so like back in the day, like Osama bin Laden's uncle and George Sr. were boys.
Boys,
And they
yeah.
hung out all the time.
Yep.
And so like I forget what happened, but Bush hired like Biden's crew. So like the United Nations building, I think, in Iraq blew up. And Biden's uncle had a construction crew.
Bush's
so
uncle.
Bush no.
Biden.
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden.
Sorry.
There you go.
Bin Laden.
I get it.
So Bin Laden's uncle had like a construction crew, got hired by George Sr. to do that.
Yeah.
And then obviously Bin Laden was a CIA operative and worked here in the States and then turned Al Qaeda.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
Talk about a movie.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. So like
Zero Dark
back in
30?
the day, like we used like
Fat Pratt.
Al Qaeda was like our insurgents that we used before they became terrorists.
Pratt.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like there were people that worked for us, but then all of a sudden we needed a word to call the terrorists. So then we changed and called them Al Qaeda. So that's why everybody started hating Al Qaeda's.
Jesus. But as I'm thinking about it, though, is this not a great script for a Mission Impossible movie?
Yeah. And it was like the day, like the morning of 9/11, like Bush Sr. and Bin Laden's uncle were seen together, like having breakfast.
See, I don't like
And
that.
I was just like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about what's going on over here.
Where were they at?
Denny's?
Some fucking
Waffle House?
some building having like conference.
Wasn't Building 7.
Far away from downtown, I'll tell you that.
So here's the thing, because we were going to get back to that next week, so we might as well tease into it. What I was talking about earlier at work was the whole idea behind we're in debt. We need to get rid of money. We need to hide money. We need to ruin the fucking numbers, cook the books, whatever the fuck you want to do. Why is it that we can't just print more money? And I say that knowing that as more money, quote unquote, exists in the world, it becomes less valuable.
Yes.
Who says? Because I'm telling you right now, if I had a copy machine right here in my apartment and I printed out $1 million, it's going to be $1 million.
Well, that was the whole essence, not was, because I think it's still a thing, but that's the whole essence around crypto, is that there's only so many of them. And when you have them, that's why they're so valuable, because there's a finite amount. You can't just continue to duplicate these. So
Okay.
once your dollar bill is worth X, if I print out 1 million more of these dollars, it's not as hard to obtain them, and it makes the overall value of each one go down.
So I print, let's say for shits and giggles and shits, I print $10 trillion in my apartment. Let's just say I have the ability to do it. I print it. How in the fuck does the world know to raise the price of eggs, to raise the price of beer?
Well, they don't
Well,
know
because
that because it's illegal for
if
you to
it's
do
just
that.
you having it, that's fine. Now, let's say you open a stimulus package and you give it to every American across the United States. Now, everybody has $1,200. Now you can say, well, now the value of the dollar isn't as much because everybody has $1,200.
Which is fucking nothing.
And then you boost everything by fucking $12, which is exactly what they did just so they could do it.
Right, because like if you sell a product for $100
Correct.
and say the majority of your customer base has to spend like 20% of their income to get that, it's going to deter them from doing that. But now if we just magically give everybody enough money to where it's only 2% of their income, it's going to change your profit margins, because you're going to have to charge more to basically justify that everybody can buy it now.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Where it sounds
Yeah,
really
100%.
stupid. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Just
nobody
because
needs
I have
to-
more of these, why does it matter?
Nobody needs to change anything. Like
Yeah.
we can just have more money and stuff can just be $1.
Right, like you're saying, like we owe China $1 trillion. Why doesn't somebody just go crazy on a printing press and say, "Here's your money"?
Because like what we're
Yeah.
saying then, to reduce it to like basic logic, like I'm a toddler, at some point it's not going to be $1 General, it's going to be $5 General. But it's not. So what are we doing? I don't get it. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Well, because they base it off
I mean,
of
nothing
too, like
in the
isn't it
Dollar
like
General
has
the
like
dollar
gold
anymore.
and
It's
like
$1.25.
they base off
It
of like
was
the
a
reserve and like
gold back
finite
in the Federal
materials.
Reserve in Fort Knox. Yes, that was a gold-based monetary system
Right.
that it was established on. But then you started getting the Federal Reserve and the World Bank, and then like here's just a crazy number. I think we spent $15 billion on COVID during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and last 6-8 months we gave Ukraine $100 billion. Like just came out of nowhere. Just
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
here's money.
And that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I think, again, it was a early pod, so I get it was a tough listen. But who invented money? Fuck them, because it's just kind of dumb. Because all you did was just create this greed and creed nonsense throughout the world. I don't like it.
I mean, I get it on principle for sure,
Yeah.
but I think if we were just in a strictly barter system,
Well, I'm not even saying barter, but it's like you understand as a society, like we would just grow and evolve too, because this is, you would in theory be starting from scratch. So it's like you're in this village, and they say it all came from, I was reading this book because I'm off the grid. They talk about how it takes a village to raise a child. And so it's interesting how in the olden days, if you will, a whole village would tend to one person's kid, or like the kids of the village people would pass them around essentially like daycare, but it was free.
Yeah.
And it was because you realize like taking care of a child's a lot of work and you need a lot of help. We shifted away from that mentality, and it feels like the fork in the road, you can all tie it back to money. And so it was like as soon as you started creating this divide of, well, I'm going to buy the better version of this, or I'm going to have the best version of this, versus if we would have as a society evolved together and all pushed the sticks together, we'd all be living in this like synchronized type world.
Right.
And it's not world peace by any stretch because, again, overcome adversity, we're all wired that way. But there's a world that would exist where you go to the grocery and it's like, hey, you're here to get your daily bread or whatever the fucking church saying is, and you get your bread, your milk, your eggs. Like, you get your shit and you just go. Like, there's going to be villains of the world, don't get me wrong, but that's why we would still have, police or agencies, SHIELD, whatever. Like,
I mean, do you want to count money? You want to have fun?
what do you mean? And see, you get it. So we could all have
I
fun.
mean, those are things. That's a socialist economy, and that's the hippie in you talking.
Right. Because at some point, like if
But
I'm the
it's the thing-
farmer
no,
and
no,
I have
no.
to make the
Well, the
eggs and the
greatest line
bread.
that was told was the American dream, and that's what put the emphasis on getting ahead of everybody, keeping up with the Joneses, as they
Yeah.
say, is you got to have the nicest things, you got to make more money,
And you
got to do all
don't.
these things. Yeah, but guess who did that? The people that profited off it the most.
Yeah.
They just were like, hey, we need you to buy everything that we own and just keep you poor, keep us rich.
And that's what I'm
And
saying.
if you don't, we'll blow up some buildings.
Allegedly.
And that's how you transition.
Episode 97. Did we do it?
9/11.
97, 9/11. Hit the buttons.
Are we branching off? Are we doing it?
What do you want to do? Flat Earth? Do you have
Flurf?
the
We
flurf?
flurfing?
Let's
Do
talk
you-
about Flurf.
do you have it?
Yeah,
It-
let's
If you
give
got it, dude, I'll go. I'll burn
Let's
the
round it
midnight
out,
oil.
baby.
Let's get it then.
We're in it.
Bonus track.
Yeah, it's the finale. It's the finale. Midnight
There we go.
oil. Do you have any more noons?
I do not.
Damn it. I was ready for one more. See if there's any.
Get that fruit quake in here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So
Do it to us.
This is you, bud. Introduce it. Let's
Yeah.
talk. We did a 3-part series just so you could talk about flat Earth.
yeah,
baby.
loud and proud. I want you to own this. This is your baby.
well, I like it because it just makes you question a lot of things, right?
Yes.
Question.
and
You
that's-
tell us,
Science.
Kyrie.
Question what media's portrayed. Question why somebody would give us misinformation for
Yeah.
so long.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. So flat Earth,
Yes.
globe, Earth, NASA. We touched on it earlier. Like
Yep.
every picture
All doctored.
generated from space is by NASA, and they openly admitted they're CGI generated pictures,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Oftentimes, okay, so we'll try to give a quick 60-second synopsis of how flat earthers come to their viewpoint.
Correct. Okay.
All right, so
Yep.
we'll go galaxies, cosmos, sun, moon. So as we know it, we're a globe constantly spinning around the sun,
Yep.
right? And the sun's spinning around a galaxy,
Yep.
and the galaxy spinning around other galaxies, and yet here we are on a globe
Orbit
with
stuff.
with
Ooh, diesel?
theories
Nice.
that are made to say
What's that?
just hodgepodge,
Yeah, I don't
right?
That also takes a bottle opener that's not out there.
Theories of science, of physics. Gravity's always the one that comes to mind
Yeah.
for the Flat Earth Society. I don't know when exactly it came about, because if we go back historically, way before the invention of science and gyroscopes and compasses and things like that, a lot of the world maps were all laid out as if the Earth was
Flat.
flat.
Yeah.
Treasure map style.
And Galileo, all these old theorists and whatnot were based on the constellations, which, if the world was constantly spinning and
They would be
we were
moving.
going around the sun and the stars were already spinning and it's like a just giant gyroscope, nothing would stay the same ever, right? We wouldn't be rotating in such a way where the stars kind of realign themselves across the horizon at different points in time. You know, Orion's belt stays exactly the same, but if everything's spinning around each other, eventually those things would.
That right there kind of fucks me up. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I'm already mentally knifed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Or is
and
it the diesel?
That could be the Budweiser.
so never mind like the speed that apparently somebody's calculated of, I think it's 6,000 miles per hour the
That we
world is spinning around.
That's
But yet you look at a rocket leaving the
it's like
atmosphere.
6 Machs.
Like if you
7
throw
Mach.
something out of a moving vehicle, it
Instantly.
instantaneously right?
Yep, gone.
So if you leave a spinning Earth's atmosphere,
Gone.
right,
You
but
just keep going straight.
that's not what happens,
Yeah.
or at least that's not what we witnessed happen. So
We've been portrayed that enough like rocket propulsion just
Right.
sends you.
So, trying to think of how to keep going on without getting too deep into the rabbit hole, because I want you guys to obviously.
Well, no, because I'm
Entertaining
already
thought.
super intrigued. So, what was it called before the big boom, when we were all one continent, so to speak, allegedly?
Pangea.
Pangea.
Oh, this dude
So-
don't know Pangea.
But so with Pangea, is it the same premise where it's like it's always been drawn out as like a flat map? You know what I mean? Like Pangea was never curved. I mean, it's the same premise.
Yeah.
We're just going off of two different maps. But like that, I think that's something that's very interesting to where no matter what, it's always just been pegged as like this. Here we are. It also
So it can.
Do flat earthers believe in Pangea?
I haven't gone down that one, but I'll tie it into so. If we go up high enough on the horizon, right?
yep.
Like amateur weather balloons can get up like 25 miles into the sky and look out
Yeah.
into the horizon, and it's flat, right? You can't
Yeah.
see.
The ocean it just
curvature
goes
of the globe,
straight
right?
into the
And so
water.
at
You
what
don't
point-
see anything.
At what point they're saying the Earth is so vast that when do you see the curve?
When does the curve get created?
Right. And
Yeah.
so there's bridges that span hundreds of miles.
And they never
That-
bend.
Don't. Correct.
But are allegedly they're constructed to brace the bend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, another one they fall back on is the curvature of the Earth, and yet water always maintains
Yep.
the whatever.
The ocean essentially is a giant tub,
Correct.
and you're going down. There's no like you're going down sideways.
Yeah.
Around a ball. Yeah. That's
Which they'll say that's gravity.
yeah.
Now I'm trying to keep going with all the
Oh, keep going.
bunks.
I'm in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ahmed.
Yeah.
Now, so go back to the maps real quick,
Yep.
and all the ancient maps or whatnot dictate a flat Earth,
Okay.
and some of those, including the what is it called, United Nations, their logo is a flat Earth, and so
The UN's is?
It's
Yeah.
just they're laid out like
it's laid out as if there's no globe. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Now, is it truly flat, like a disc?
Right. Terrain.
Correct.
Duh.
And
Mountains.
So digging in a little deeper, there's other theories behind it that maybe it's not a full globe, but it could be a rock, a giant floating rock that's for most part flat, and then you got some underlying surface underneath it. And then so the moon
Okay.
and the sun are rotating around at a fixed angle
Yep.
all across it. So you still get the sunset, and you get the moon, and you get the reflections and whatnot.
How do you calculate just real quick for like the Alaskan weather when it's like sunny out for 23 hours?
So it's like if you have like a parallel diagram that's like right here.
Yep.
Alaska's
Alaska's in
in
the
there.
middle.
Yeah. So it's like the sun and the moon were rotating like this, but like in that little sector right there is where the overlap is.
Alaska just catches the brunt of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they say, well, equator and the seasons and whatnot. So that's where I say still think there's potentially a curvature there. It's just not a giant perfect sphere.
Were
if
you the
will.
one that was telling me that there's all the crazy things that have happened and it's all been in cities or places that are on the equator? That fucked me up when I came across that. There's a lot of like very monumental things and they're all equator based. Anyways.
Based on latitude, longitude, and this is where
Yep.
Yeah.
interesting.
Anyways, go ahead.
So I mean, I guess the obvious thing here would be to be like, if it's flat, wouldn't you hit the edge of the page?
Yes, thank you. So, Antarctica, right? There's the Antarctic Treaty that
North Pole,
So North Pole would be the center of
Antarctica.
our flat spatial map, right? So as you
Center
see,
how?
so as we'd have to pull it up, but
Oh, because you're saying it would
the
you
globe
take it and
instead
you-
of
Yep.
you just sprawl it out. So you still have a center, which would be the North Pole. Now Antarctica,
okay.
which would normally be on the bottom, now is spread out around the edges.
What?
Yeah.
I imagined. So you're taking.
So it's like here's Antarctica that's on the South Pole,
yeah.
but if it's flat,
Oh,
it's
the
got to
South
come
Pole.
up like this.
I said the North Pole.
So it's like
That's
this.
my bad.
So the North Pole's in the center, the countries are around it, and then the Great Ice Wall
Is a
is
yeah.
Antarctica.
Okay. Because I'm imagining a globe, and you basically just peel the paper off and lay it flat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And
That's
so the bottom,
essentially-
the South Pole. I'm a fucking idiot. I said
Yeah.
the North Pole. Okay, I get it.
So
I'm with you.
one of the theories is that there is a giant ice wall that separates
And that's why we're
Different-
so afraid that it's melting.
worlds. If like
Yep.
you have the the
Game of
continent as
Thrones.
we know it, yes,
Yeah.
and there's other realms, worlds outside of those walls, and that whether they're alien or higher beings, and that there's different thresholds. I mean, even if you get into this, gets a little bit crazy, but now
No.
if you heard of a
I'm drunk enough. Tell me.
firmament, it's a biblical term, so that now the world is flat but within a dome, and so
Okay.
there's layers outside of it, purgatory, heaven, higher level worlds, even beyond that.
So we're essentially
then
a
if you go
half snow
below-
globe.
You go below, then you got like hell and whatnot below it for the lower beings and whatnot.
So then what is to stop us from just debunking it by the people that have like dug to the core and all that shit, or like done the science to find the core of the earth? And like if you dig far enough, you'll get to China.
I don't think we have the science capabilities to do it.
They're
right?
just assuming like, hey, because we
Yeah.
assume this is a ball,
Right.
when we go here, we're gonna end up there.
Mhm.
But nobody's ever done it.
Right.
Classic. Kansas City shuffle. We look this way, they go that way.
I touch here, you go there.
They're round, flat.
So what the big Antarctic theory is that Antarctica or beyond these walls is a whole nother world where possibly elitists go, or you ascend
Epstein
to-
Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
So then for
What's his name? Hemdall?
Hemdall? Mordor?
No, the guy from Thor that just basically stops people from coming in and out of Asgard.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy?
I'm
He
just saying, like, if I have
He
an
ends up
island,
with two M16s at the end of it, and I
No, he
lose all
doesn't.
faith.
Carl Urban, that's not Hemdall.
He's from
Hemdall is
the boys.
Aegis Albra.
Yeah.
he's the
Hemdall's
boys.
Idris Elba. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Oh, puppet.
Hello.
I'm just
Paul.
saying, like, if I had a secret society island, if you will,
Right.
I'm gonna hire a pretty badass person that's basically like whatever it is, like where you go through like customs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I need to see whatever badge or insignia you own that lets you be on this wall.
There ain't no TSA
But isn't
pre-check
it like
here, bud.
nobody has ever been able to like climb over the wall and like you're not allowed to fly near it?
yes, so there's I think
There's so much like storm and ice
I think
like at the top of the
178
wall.
country pact that they call it Antarctic Treaty, where nobody, because it's so dangerous, nobody will explore it. And I
So
think
dangerous.
Admiral
It's
Byrd,
just cold.
I think it's Admiral Byrd
Yeah.
was the 1930 explorer that was commissioned by the United States to go explore Antarctica,
Okay.
and lost half his crew and said it's too dangerous. We can't explore this vast region. That's I think is it bigger than Africa
Yeah.
supposedly?
Yeah.
But
It's the largest desert.
yeah, and I think it's like
Sounds
the
like
30th parallel or something like that. That you can take it from Argentina to the tip of the ice wall potentially of
Yeah.
Antarctica. It's not that far, and they'll do a cruise that go there, but then you have to go right back. Like you can't actually.
You can't get close.
Yeah.
well. So then I have to ask the rebuttal, the debater questions, flights.
Mhm.
How does that all play into it?
So I think
Like if you usually it's like
Nobody flies over Antarctica because there's nothing to go to.
No. I'm
You know what I
saying
You
mean?
just fly around.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying in just going back to the regular world, whether it's round, flat,
Mhm.
fucking up, down, left, sideways, you go usually the West Coast flights. You go to LA, and then that's the hub, and then you go to what is it? What's the next thing you hit? Is it Europe?
Japan.
No, China, Russia. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
It's Japan.
is the flight patterns are the flight patterns always the same to where it's like, well, this is a 14-hour flight, but technically it should have only been like 6 if the world's round, and we could have just gone the other way. Does that make sense?
I think I'm understanding it.
So here and here, this flight should only take so long. But if it's flat, then here to here, it's going to be this way every time because from, again, your description, we're in this dome sphere, so to speak. So you can't go out and back in. You can't do the Mario, like, run across the screen, leave, and come back through the other side. Like
Right.
You
But
have
he's
to
saying-
go. You have to do
But
down
he's
and
saying
backs.
the Earth isn't flat like this, and like here's the North Pole. The Earth is flat like this, so it's circular.
Donde. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So
And for
it's-
those that want to know, check the YouTube video. I do a lot of stuff with my hands.
So all flights. So I mean, essentially, yeah, we're all just in this like. It's a stretched out flat Earth, so to speak, but we can reach all destinations within like this 10 to 12 hour time period.
Correct. And I don't know if that could be intentional
Right.
to limit flight patterns to give the perception.
Okay, so then where do you land on all this?
I land on if you can't prove it,
Exactly.
then it's within the realm of possibilities, right? And just as much as about you can debunk, right? But there's as much you cannot prove.
Exactly.
Like, why is there not a video from space then? Why is there no picture of Antarctica from space
Isn't there?
ever?
Here, let me see Antarctica from space. I'm pulling up. As we learned in 2001, we got the ability to Google images. So
Well, it's all CGI
Right.
created, right?
That's just
the
NASA
problem.
created CGI.
Tom Cruise will put this to bed when he
damn,
goes to
these
space.
These pictures look fucking busted.
You want to get deeper down the rabbit hole? The North Pole is the entranceway into Hollow Earth. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's the other
What?
theory.
So there's an Earth beneath our Earth.
There's no
Right.
Santa?
right?
That's sad. Go ahead.
And that's where
That's where he makes the toys, bro.
reptilians and stuff come from, and the aliens.
This
that
is
they
crazy
fly out
looking
of
at
there.
these pictures because they all look like ass. Like they're so bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's okay. I mean, they really do just church up every picture. So you're saying we took the Earth and we take this spherical globe-like creature and we strip it off the ball and lay it flat, but keep it in its round essence.
Yeah. Like you're looking from the North Pole down on it.
And then it all smooths out versus it going, okay, spherical.
Yeah, like if you took a basketball and you cut it in half and you just flattened it, it's still going to be round that way, right? Isn't that what you're trying to
Yeah.
say?
That's wild.
But flat.
How do
this
we just
way.
go figure that out? Like, that would be fun, right? Because there was a video.
If they let you.
Well, the big
Right.
thing I saw, because again, it's who knows what video was doctored and what was, messed up or tweaked. This guy's has literally just a light and a video and a camera, and I think it was doing like the time lapse stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, if the Earth is flat, like I think it is, this will stay level. But you'll see the light the whole time." And like 8 hours went by, and he's like, "See, the light's still there," and the light was completely covered up, and it was like shooting this way because clearly the Earth's like rotating in to his like discredit, and you're just like, so what's real here? What are we doing?
Yeah. So he like cut a hole and then cut another hole and then had a third wall that cut a hole. And the holes were all at 17 feet.
Yep.
And he was like, in theory,
Yeah.
I should be able to see the light at 17 feet.
No matter
Or
what.
if it's curved, I'm going to have to raise this hole up to 23 feet to see the light.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm about to prove that the world is flat. And then he goes and he's like, I can't see the light. And he was like, raise it above your head. And he raises it up above his head. He goes, now I see it. And
Yeah.
he's just like, and then the video cuts out. And you're just like, Flat Earther debunks his own theory. And you're just like, all right.
This was
I
a
don't know
good-
if that's staged or not.
I was
But
gonna
you're
say,
just
that
like,
sounds like a psyop to
It was a good
keep
giggle.
people's trails,
If
right?
nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, so then with flat Earth, allegedly being a thing, what are the like biggest, to like close it out, to tie a bow on it, the biggest takeaways of why people think it's fake and why people think it's real, whether it be something you already said or something you haven't said?
Like, what do they hang their hat on?
Yeah,
The most?
like the biggest, like the haymakers that people throw to be like, shut the fuck up, it's flat. No, bitch, it's a circle.
Well, I think one of his biggest ones, like he said, there's no videos from space.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just everything that you've been taught this entire time, so it's what you know.
Okay.
And everything's based on a theory, unprovable, right?
Right.
And
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Um,
You want to know the most interesting one, I think, out of everything you said is the ocean one. Because you go into any body of water and it's essentially just a giant bucket. And it's like, so this is supposed to be this rounded bucket. So like we should be able to take a submarine and just do this. And like go, for those of you watching, like you just go in circles, but you're not. Like every time you're in a boat or some type of watercraft, you're just doing this. And I don't care who you are, you can go 60 knots, 1 knot, half a knot, 0 knots. You're going straight. And that's weird. You should feel some sense of like gravity pulling you or some tilt, like if you go far enough, fast enough.
and I think there's some mathematical model about
Boats.
plane flights that if it was curved, you're always making a descent.
Correct.
Once you reach a certain point, that you're always
To the slightest
Right.
degree, your angle. Yeah. And you're not. You're just
Right.
going straight. Altitude. Those are the best ones.
See?
I'm a flat earther. Kyrie, call me.
Well, I mean, even if it's round, couldn't you just offset so you wouldn't descend? Couldn't I be flying always up, even if I'm in a spherical?
That's where I
World?
think maybe gravity comes into play. You're going up, gravity's pulling you down, and it's just this perfect balance of like,
that doesn't change the direction of flight. That's what keeps you from flying off the earth, so to speak.
yeah, but it's also pulling you down as you're trying to fly up. So it's like this perfect. I figured it out. I'm fucking smart.
There you are.
Yeah.
Einstein.
I mean, if your altitude's always 30,000 feet and you stay 30,000 feet, wouldn't you just continue with the curve?
Yeah. Because in theory, you're
just
30,000 feet
off the ground. So wherever the ground is,
and it's ball
doesn't
like.
matter the curve. I'm always going to be parallel to the ground. So that's how I'm flying. That's how you
Right.
fly.
I'm back on. I'm a Earth's
Oh,
round.
oh,
Rounder.
He's back.
There
Suck
it
it,
is.
Kyrie.
Here we go.
Nope.
All right.
Don't text me.
Don't text me, Kyrie.
97.
Did we do it?
I think we did.
I think we
Yeah.
did it.
Hold on. Let me check.
We made the people think,
Yeah.
and that was
What'd
the
we
goal for the
miss?
last 3
What
weeks.
did we miss?
Hour 52.
Yeah,
Tell us.
We went into the hole.
yeah,
Deep.
we did
The Antarctic hole.
Yeah.
The South Pole.
with the lizard people.
The North Pole.
Offsprings, comment. What did we miss? What do you think?
What is the other
Planes,
craziest?
trains, and flat earths.
No, there's one more I wanted to do. We should have
Nope.
done JFK.
I said it. That was
The
big one.
sniper
You're
of
like,
all
no.
snipers. That was.
It was
crazy.
Magneto. He curved the bullet.
That's wanted.
I think that was just a botched investigation.
Have you
because they
seen-
covered it up?
Wanted?
Days of Future Past.
No.
Magneto's locked up.
X-Men sucked after
For
like,
the JFK
second one.
assassination?
No. Oh my god.
After the second one, it sucked. You like the first one, or you like the second one?
Hit the button.